the Motogp world has once again been rocked by a surprising statement from Marc Marquez. In a recently published interview, Marquez made an unexpected comment about Jorge Martin's injury, a statement that immediately sparked a wave of speculation and reaction from various parties. What exactly did Marquez say, and why was his statement considered so controversial? Let's discuss it. Jorge Martin, the mainstay of the Aprilia racing team, is facing a difficult time for the 2025 Motogp season due to a series of rather serious injuries. The problems began on the first day of pre-season testing at the Sepang International Circuit in Malaysia on February 5, 2025. During the session, Martin crashed in the second corner and suffered multiple fractures to his body. The incident forced him to end the test early and miss the entire pre-season test series, which are very important for the preparation of the bike's performance and the rider's adaptation. Before he had time to fully recover, Martin was struck by bad luck again. While undergoing intensive training in preparation for his return to the track, he fell again and suffered a more serious injury. This time, the accident resulted in a complex fracture of his wrist, an injury that required further surgery and a long recovery process. As a result of this second injury, Martin missed the first two races of the season, the Grand Prix of Thailand and Argentina, which was certainly a blow for him and the Aprilia team who had high hopes for him this season. Marc Marquez, one of the most influential riders in the Motogp world, gave Jorge Martin some valuable advice after hearing the news of his injury. Marquez spoke not only as a fellow rider, but also as someone who has experienced the physical and emotional suffering of serious injury. In 2020, Marquez suffered a serious injury to his right arm following a serious crash in the opening round of the season. The injury turned out to be much more complex than expected, forcing him to undergo a series of surgeries and miss almost the entire season. He then had to fight hard to return to a competitive level, going through a difficult time filled with pain, frustration, and uncertainty. Based on this bitter experience, Marquez sent a personal message to Jorge Martin. He advised Martin to really listen to his body and not rush back to the track. Marquez stressed the importance of respecting the body, a principle he learned the hard way. He said that forcing yourself to come back too soon could have long-term negative consequences, even aggravating existing injuries. He also added that missing a race or two is not the end of the world. In a sport as intense as Motogp, long-term safety and health must be the top priority. It is better to miss now and recover fully than to regret it later, Marquez said in his message. This advice serves as a reminder that even champions must know when to give in for the sake of a better future. Fellow rider Francesco Bagnaia also showed his empathy by offering moral support to Jorge Martin in the midst of his recovery process. Bagnaia, who has also experienced difficult times due to injury, said that physical and mental recovery takes time and should not be rushed. He emphasized the importance of patience and discipline in following each stage of the rehabilitation process in order to maximize the healing process. In his statement, Bagnaia also reminded Martin that forcing him to return to the track before he is fully recovered could be very risky, not only for his performance on the bike, but also for his long-term career. He hopes that Martin can focus on his recovery and not feel pressured by external expectations. According to Bagnaia, the most important thing now is to ensure that Martin is at his best when he returns, both physically and mentally. In his statement to the media, Jorge Martin revealed that his recent series of injuries have been the toughest test of his career. Not only has he felt the physical effects, but he has also had to deal with the mental pressure of missing several important races. Martin admitted that while every rider wants to continue to compete and perform at their best at every opportunity, his not yet fully recovered physical condition means that he has to make smart moves for the time being. This is not an easy decision, but health is the main priority. I want to return to the track in 100% condition, not half-heartedly, he said. Although the situation is not ideal, Martin remains positive and enthusiastic about getting back on his feet. He expressed his deep gratitude to the medical team who continue to monitor his recovery process, his race team who continue to provide full support, and his family and fans who continue to send prayers and encouragement. In the future, Martin hopes to make a full recovery and return to top competition. He believes that there are lessons to be learned from every challenge, and he will use this time of recovery to strengthen himself both physically and mentally. I am determined to come back stronger. This is not the end, but part of my journey to the top, Martin concluded optimistically. After a series of intensive recovery processes following his injury, Jorge Martin is set to return to the track for the upcoming Qatar Grand Prix. This is a moment that Motogp fans have been eagerly awaiting, as Martin's absence in recent rounds has left a void at the top of the field. However, the certainty of Martin's participation is still under evaluation by the medical team. A final examination will be carried out shortly before the race to ensure that his condition really allows him to return to the physical pressure and high speeds of a racing motorcycle. This process is an important step to avoid the risk of further injury, which could have more serious consequences. In an official statement, Martin revealed that he really wants to return to racing and feel the competitive atmosphere on the track. However, he is also aware that his body is not 100% recovered. "I miss being on the bike, feeling the adrenaline of racing and battling with my rivals. But I also have to be realistic about my current condition," he said. His team, including mechanics and physiotherapists, have been working hard to help him get back to peak condition as quickly as possible. Support from fans and fellow riders continues to pour in, adding to Martin's motivation to return to peak performance as soon as possible. On the other hand, Motogp is preparing a series of major changes to the technical regulations that will come into effect for the 2027 season. These new regulations are designed to shape the future of a more competitive, environmentally friendly and sustainable championship. One of the most significant changes is the reduction in engine capacity from the original 1,000 cubic centimeters to 850 cubic centimeters. This move was made with the aim of reducing the bike's top speed and improving rider safety, while reducing the cost of technology development. In addition, rider height devices, which have been a controversial innovation because they provide aerodynamic advantages and extra acceleration, will be banned. The aim is to simplify the motorcycle and put the focus back on the rider's skills rather than on technological advantages. Aerodynamics is another aspect that will be significantly reduced. The large wings and complex aerodynamic devices that have dominated Motogp bike designs are considered to have too much influence on the course of the race, making it difficult to overtake. By reducing aerodynamics, it is hoped that competition between riders on the track will be more open and interesting to watch. In addition, Motogp will switch to using fuel produced entirely from renewable sources, with a target of 100% green fuel from 2027. This policy is in line with Dorna and the FIM's commitment to making Motogp a motorcycle racing sport that supports global efforts to reduce carbon emissions and environmental impact. No less importantly, the change from Michelin to Pirelli as the official tire supplier is also part of this transition. Pirelli, with its extensive experience in the World SBK Championship, will bring a new approach and new characteristics to tire performance in Motogp. This is expected to provide a different challenge for teams and riders, as well as refreshing the dynamics of the competition. Jorge Martin's situation underlines the importance of listening to your body and giving yourself enough time to recover. Advice from experienced riders like Marc Marquez and support from colleagues will be important elements in Martin's recovery process and return to Motogp competition. Will Jorge Martin be able to come back stronger and prove that injury is not the end, but the beginning of a champion's rise? Let us know your opinion.